if you are struggling, stay motivated. It is entirely okay. It's okay to need that extra encouragement, to need that extra motivation. That's totally okay. I think that in my realm of work, I think sometimes it may be a subject that we may miss in talking about simply because they think once we make the decision, it's like, okay, we're ready to go. I don't need any more motivation. I'm just ready to go. I got this. It doesn't necessarily work that way, although it's not our intention. We don't plan it to be that way, but there are some little tricks along the road that'll help us to stay motivated and that help us to stay committed. That is what I want to talk about in this video. But please know that this is something that I believe that won't only apply to your fitness goals or your weight loss goals, but also just in general and other things where you feel like you need that extra encouragement, that positive reinforcement, that extra motivation. I believe that these things can definitely help you and will definitely be applicable to those specific things where you need that extra motivation. One of the first things I want to mention is vision. I think a lot of times we may talk a little bit about what we foresee, what we're trying to accomplish, but I think that at the same time we don't see it. Like we say it and we kind of like see it a little bit, but I think it's important to write these things down and to cast off this vision and to literally see exactly what you want to happen, and again, write this thing down. I think that we tend to jump into discipline first. We want to say, okay, I'm disciplined for this goal. Like I'm so disciplined, I know what I want and stuff. But then life just happens, and life always just happens. And it seems to be, especially these days, it seems to be a great excuse to justify why we're not doing things. But it's not really a good excuse. So don't just let that slide. Write these things down. Hold yourself committed to it. When we have this vision, then we have a reason to be disciplined. We can't just be disciplined without the vision, right? Vision first, and then we know what to be disciplined for. So make sure you write this vision down, exactly what you're trying to accomplish. Let's say, for example, which moves on to my next thing that I wanted to mention, making smaller goals. It's great to have this big grand goal. That's great. But you also want to have smaller goals in between. So smaller goals that's going to reach to the bigger goal. It's going to hold you a lot more accountable. The smaller goals, let's say, for example, I have a client who wants to lose 50 pounds, right? Which is great. Let's not even look at the 50 pounds first. Let's look at first 10 and say it's like a beginner who's never lost any before. So let's look at 10 first. This 10 is going to be something that's going to be rewarding for them in a very, very big way. So let's look at the 10 first, and then from there, move on to the next 10, and then before you know it, she'll reach this 50-pound mark. The client will reach this 50-pound mark. So, and that's a huge milestone, but it's more, it allows for a more realistic goal, and it's a lot more encouraging as opposed to 50 pounds, because it sort of sounds unreachable and crazy to some people, and it's just a long time frame. So let's shoot for like shorter and smaller time frames. It's just a lot more realistic, and it actually helps us and keeps us encouraged. The last thing I wanted to mention too was, which I think a lot of people miss, and I don't know why this is or why people do this, but a lot of times we want to say things like, oh, like I'm trying to get in shape, but like I'm really not telling anybody. Just kind of just between me and stuff. But I think that that's a wrong thing to do. I think that we need to do these things, and we need to we have big goals and big things that we're trying to accomplish. I think that we need to do these things with people. So, which leads me to my next thing, accountability. I think it's important to have these accountability partners and to have people hold you accountable, not necessarily to what you're doing bad, but also to praise you and to encourage the good that you're doing. It's not necessarily to call you out on like, hey, you shouldn't be doing that, or hey, you shouldn't be doing this and that and the other and stuff. It's not so much about that. It's just that person just to know, and so that way they can encourage you when you may need that extra encouragement. It's so simple just for us to go with the motions of life and just forget about what that big goal is. And so that person holding you accountable is going to call you out and those things specifically, like, hey, you were doing good, and I noticed that this and that is going on and stuff, like, let's get back on it. Or they may not even say it like that, but just the fact that they would even know or bring the topic up. For example, one of the things that I'm focused on is the revamping of my site, and it's something that's been a continual process for me. So I had my mentor ask me last week, so how's your site going? And so those things alone kind of just like, it kind of just sparks me where I'm kind of like, ugh, because if it's not, if it's not going in the direction from what we had talked about last time, then he has a reason to kind of be like, oh, okay, well, why are we meeting up for, or, whatever, right? So your situation may be a little bit different due to like your relationship with that person. They may speak to you differently due to you guys' relationship and stuff. I like more like straight up and straightforward. I love that. I can handle it. But I also like that relationship. So like that person should also know you personally and stuff. So number one, going back, let's cast off the vision, and then the discipline makes sense. Number two, smaller goals that sort of come beneath the bigger goal. The bigger goal is fine. That's great. But let's have a smaller goal underneath that. Number three, accountability. It's another big thing. Let's stick to that. So, guys, one of my favorite proverbs goes, where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is no vision, the people perish. So perish meaning it'll die out. It'll completely just vanish. So we definitely do not want to be people who perish. So let's cast that vision and let's move forward. Hold on to that goal, guys, because as long as you guys stay committed and stay motivated with these smaller tips, it's definitely going to help you guys to move forward and definitely meet that ultimate deadline that you guys are ultimately trying to reach. Hey, thank you guys for watching my video. The concept and the subject of motivation has been sitting on my chest for a while, so I'm glad that I was able to just get it off my chest. If you guys haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Also, if you know anybody else who may need some extra motivation or some encouragement, please share this video with them and let's encourage them together. If you want to follow me on Instagram, please do so. The Neighborhood Trainer. That's all you got to search. Thank you guys again. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.